Marcus Webb had been in the Void Station for exactly 17 days when he figured out how to escape. The prison was a masterpiece of alien engineering, built by the Confederation to hold the galaxy's most dangerous criminals. Floating in deep space, no planets within 3 light years, force fields, automated defenses, and a security system designed by 12 different species to counter 12 different methods of escape it was supposed to be impossible to break out of. They'd forgotten to account for human ingenuity. "You're the new one," said Krell, a massive Draxian warrior who'd killed 17 people in a bar fight. "What'd they lock you up for?" "Patent infringement," Marcus replied. Krell laughed. "You're joking." "Nope. I designed a faster than light engine. Turns out I accidentally used a design element that was patented by some corporation. They sued. I couldn't pay. Judge gave me 5 years in the galaxy's most secure prison for a civil offense. That's insane. That's bureaucracy." Marcus studied the cell's force field. "Hey, Krell, how long have you been here?" 8 years. 2 more to go. Anyone ever escaped?" "No. This place was built by the best engineers in 12 species. Every weakness covered. Every exploit closed. It's perfect." Marcus smiled. "Nothing's perfect. Everything has flaws. You just need to know where to look." Over the next 3 weeks, Marcus observed everything: the guard rotations, the power distribution, the waste disposal system, the air recycling. Every system, every protocol, every routine. And he found what the alien engineers had missed. They'd built a prison to contain aliens, specifically the 12 species represented on the Confederation Council. But humans were new, barely 100 years in the galactic community, not on the Council, not considered when designing security, which meant the prison had a blind spot. A human-shaped blind spot. The air ducts. Marcus explained to Krell and 3 other inmates he'd recruited. They're sized for the smallest council species, the Vex. But Vex have exoskeletons. They can't compress their bodies. Humans can. You're saying you can fit through the air system? Not just me. Anyone flexible enough. The ducts lead to the main processing center. From there, we can access the power grid. And do what? Cut power. The backup generators kick in within seconds. We don't cut power. We redirect it. The station's defenses are designed to keep people in. But the escape pods, they're on an external power grid. Isolated system. If we reroute main power through the pod grid for just 3 seconds, we can overload the launch protocols and fire them all simultaneously. They'd just recapture us. Not if we program the pods to scatter in 12 different directions. They can't chase all of us. And once we reach FTL, we're gone. Krell stared. That's actually brilliant. Why hasn't anyone thought of this before? Because you'd need to fit through ducts designed for Vex, understand human-built power systems well enough to hack alien ones, and be crazy enough to try. I'm a human engineer with a patent lawsuit and nothing to lose. I'm exactly crazy enough. The escape happened on day 43. Marcus squeezed through air ducts that made his claustrophobia scream, hacked into power systems using principles that apparently 12 alien species had never considered, and redirected enough energy to simultaneously launch every escape pod on the station. Chaos, absolute chaos, alarms blaring, guards scrambling, security protocols failing because they'd never planned for someone to weaponize the escape pods themselves. Marcus made it to pod 47 with Krell and 2 others. The pod launched with 53 others, all scattering in different vectors. By the time station security regained control, 54 pods were racing toward FTL jump points in 54 different directions. "We did it," Krell breathed. "We actually escaped the Void Station." "We escaped the station," Marcus corrected. "Now we need to not get recaptured." They jumped to FTL 3 hours later, lost among the stars, free. The news spread across the galaxy within days. The Void Station, the galaxy's most secure prison, had been broken. By a human. Arrested for patent infringement. The Confederation Council held an emergency session. "This is unacceptable. The Void Station was engineered to be escape-proof." "It was escape-proof for known species," the chief engineer defended. "The human exploited a vulnerability we didn't know existed." "Then fix it?" "We are. We're redesigning the air ducts, reconfiguring the power grid, and updating security protocols to account for human capabilities." "And the escapees?" 41 have been recaptured. 13 remain at large, including Marcus Webb and Krell. Find them. Make an example. No one escapes the Void Station. But Marcus wasn't planning to stay free through hiding. He was planning something much more ambitious. He contacted the Confederation Council directly. "This is Marcus Webb. I'm the human who escaped your prison. I'd like to negotiate." "You're a wanted fugitive. We don't negotiate with criminals. I'm an engineer who exposed a critical flaw in your most secure facility. I'd like to propose a deal." Drop all charges against me and everyone who escaped. In exchange, I'll redesign your prison. Make it actually escape-proof. From humans and every other species you encounter in the future. That's absurd. Why would we trust you? Because I just proved your best engineers from 12 species missed something obvious. Because the next human you imprison might be smarter than me. And because I'm offering to fix your reputation problem. The galaxy knows the Void Station was broken. Let me make it unbreakable. Publicly. Show everyone that the Confederation learns from its mistakes. The Council deliberated for 3 days, then accepted. Marcus returned to the Void Station not as a prisoner, as a consultant, with full immunity and a contract that paid him more in 6 months than his original engine patent would have earned in a lifetime. You're insane, Krell said when Marcus explained the deal. You escaped, you were free, and you came back. I came back on my terms, as a free man, as an expert, and with enough money to retire comfortably once this job is done. What about the others? The 12 still out there? Part of my deal, full pardons for everyone involved in the escape. The Council agreed they want this buried quietly. Easier to give us amnesty than admit their perfect prison had a human-shaped flaw. Over the next 6 months, Marcus redesigned the Void Station from the ground up. New air duct sizing, isolated power grids, multiple redundancy systems, security protocols that accounted for human flexibility, creativity, and the tendency to find exploits in any system. It's perfect now, the chief engineer admitted grudgingly. No one is escaping this time. Nothing's perfect, Marcus replied. But it's better, and that's all anyone can ask. The Void Station reopened with great publicity. The Confederation touted it as the new standard in galactic security. Unbreakable, inescapable. Designed by the best minds of 13 species, including humanity. Marcus collected his final payment and retired to a quiet planet on the outer rim. But he kept blueprints. Detailed schematics of every system he'd installed. Every security measure. Every protocol. Because while he'd made the Void Station escape, proof for most people, he'd also left himself a backdoor. Just in case. 3 small modifications that looked like design choices but were actually exploits. Hidden so well that even the Confederation engineers wouldn't find them without knowing exactly where to look. Why keep a way in? Krell asked during their final meeting. You're free. You're rich. Why risk it? Because I learned something in those 43 days, Marcus said. The galaxy's justice system is broken. I got 5 years for a patent dispute. You got 10 years for a bar fight that was self-defense. Half the people in that prison didn't deserve to be there. So if I ever need to, if someone who doesn't deserve imprisonment ends up there, I can get them out. You're planning to break people out of the prison you just made escape-proof. I'm planning to have the option. Power isn't about using it. It's about having it when you need it. You're either brilliant or completely insane. Why not both? Marcus smiled. The galaxy put a human engineer in their perfect prison and learned that humans don't think like other species. We don't accept impossible. We don't respect perfect. We find the flaw, exploit it, and then charge you to fix it. That's not insanity. That's just being human. Krell laughed. I'm glad you're on our side. Who said I'm on anyone's side? I'm on the side of people who got screwed by bureaucracy. That's a pretty big side in this galaxy. Years later, the Void Station remained the galaxy's most secure prison. No escapes, no incidents. Perfect security. What the Confederation never knew was that Marcus Webb, the human who'd broken their perfect prison and then fixed it, had left himself 3 ways back in. 3 exploits hidden in plain sight. 3 methods that would work exactly once before being discovered. But once was all he'd need. Because sometimes, the best way to beat a system isn't to destroy it. It's to understand it so completely that you can walk through its walls whenever you want. And leave without anyone knowing you were there. The galaxy had learned not to underestimate human engineers. They'd learned to include humanity in their security planning. They'd learned that humans found flaws in perfect systems. What they hadn't learned was that humans who found flaws didn't always report all of them. Marcus Webb had escaped the Void Station once by finding weaknesses. He'd returned and fixed them. But he'd also added new ones. Intentional vulnerabilities disguised as security features. And somewhere in the galaxy, someone would eventually need them. Someone arrested for speaking truth to power. Someone imprisoned for standing up to injustice. Someone who didn't deserve to be in a cage. And when that day came, Marcus would remember where he'd hidden his back doors. And he'd use them. Because that's what humans did. They built cages. They broke out of cages. And they left doors open for the next person who needed an exit. The Void Station was escape-proof. Unless you were human. Unless you knew where to look. Unless Marcus Webb decided you deserved to be free, and that the Confederation never even suspected, was the greatest security flaw of all.